Hey everybody, it is Matty here with Altcoin Buzz with you on this Friday as we get ready for the weekend. And in a rare occurrence, at least lately it seems to be rare, we have some pretty good news. We are talking about the resubmission of this application for the Bitcoin ETF by the Cboe. Yes, it's been a pretty crazy turn of events, but this is what's happening. We're going to cover that from a bunch of different angles and perspectives. As always, we're also going to cover news out of Binance, which very importantly is now allowing Visa and MasterCard payments. So a nice tandem 1-2 punch combo, I think, of positive news stories. At least that's my opinion. You're always free to disagree. But some pretty good stuff, some pretty good developments. Let's begin here with this article on altcoinbuzz.io by Luke. Great news. U.S. stock exchange operator Cboe refiles Bitcoin ETF application. Now, it's just been a couple of weeks or so since they voluntarily withdrew their last application request. So if you're like me, you're kind of scratching your head. This doesn't really make a lot of sense on the surface. We're going to dig into some of the potential conspiracy theories even, or at least some of the hypotheses, because again, at face value, this doesn't make a lot of sense. And I don't think we have all the information. We're just going to pontificate about some ideas, some suggestions. But launching into the article here, in a tweet, the Cboe announced that it has resubmitted its application to list a Bitcoin ETF on one of its trading platforms. A few days after the Cboe withdrew its previous bid, the U.S. stock exchange operator announced that they have resubmitted the application to list a Bitcoin ETF on one of its platforms. Our friend Gabor Gerbak's head of digital assets at VanEck tweeted the following: the VanEck SolidX Bitcoin ETF proposed rule change has been submitted by the Cboe. Hard work by all teams involved, and the public document is available for anyone to view. Here it is. This is for your pillow talk if you want to help yourself fall asleep at night. Again, as I always say, if the counting of sheep doesn't work, this is 132 pages of delectable stats and dry prose. If you're so inclined, you could check it out. We will link to it in the description below if that kind of thing floats your boat, of course. On Wednesday, January 23rd, the Cboe withdrew its previous application. According to the Cboe, the prolonged U.S. government shutdown made it almost certain that the SEC would deny the ETF before the application's late February decision deadline. So is this all some kind of a strategy? Is this all just them kind of playing the cards that they were dealt in terms of the shutdown, in terms of that ongoing context? It's interesting that as soon as the U.S. shutdown ended, that's pretty much when we saw the resubmission of this application. Furthermore, the Cboe wanted to change some rules in regards to the ETF. Jan VanEck, the CEO of VanEck, said, quote, "We were engaged in discussions with the SEC about the Bitcoin-related issues, custody, market manipulation, prices, and that had to stop. And so instead of trying to slip through or something, we just had the application pulled and we will refile when the SEC gets going again." It's funny that he's talking about market manipulation. There are some theories already floating around that this, by its design, is meant to manipulate the market, is meant to manipulate the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, the peripheral and extenuating market as well. It's hard to say. More than likely, I think they were tipped off by somebody inside the SEC or inside the structure in one form or another, and they were told, like, look, given, maybe it was the shutdown, maybe it was something else, but given what's happening right now, you're not going to have success with this. If you withdraw your application, you refile, and we can kind of work around that end of February deadline that we've been structuring things around thus far. If you resubmit, then you're going to have a chance at it. So I think there are some behind-the-scenes negotiations that took place. None of us will ever be privy to them. However, as Luke concludes, many people within the crypto space believe that a Bitcoin ETF will cause a new bull market and that the market highs that were experienced in January of 2018, over a year ago, can be retested. Well, it's kind of funny because news that the ETF application had been withdrawn, it didn't really move prices. And now that the ETF has been resubmitted, or the application has been resubmitted, I should say, it hasn't really moved prices in a positive sense either. Once again, you could take a look at the original document, the original submission here. Securities and Exchange Commission, Washington, D.C. Form 19B4. As you can imagine, a lot of different news outlets are talking about this, including CoinDesk. Cboe resubmits the VanEck SolidX Bitcoin ETF proposal for SEC approval. Also here on ccn.com. Breaking: Cboe refiles Bitcoin ETF application following the end of government shutdown. And on Cointelegraph.com, you have this article: Cboe reapplies with US SEC to list Bitcoin exchange traded fund. As always, guys, we are interested to hear your perspectives in the comments below. Hey, maybe some of you are still against the ETF. I know I said I kind of came off the ETF and perhaps it's not as big a deal as I had originally anticipated. On the whole, though, I think it would be good news if this were to pass. I think that would receive national and international, of course, coverage, and it wouldn't be a bad thing on the whole. I just think it's probably less potent and less powerful than we once thought it was. However, hey, all being equal, I'd like to see it happen. And in the second half of today's news stories, we have this news about Binance, which is now supporting credit cards in the form of Visa and MasterCard payments. This is a big deal. Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency trading exchange by volume, announced today that both debit and credit card payments for cryptocurrencies are now open thanks to a partnership with Simplex, a fully licensed financial institution that offers online fraud-protected payment processing solutions. Binance users are now afforded the opportunity to purchase Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and XRP via Visa and MasterCard debit and or credit cards, a process which takes between 10 to 30 minutes on average, and there's a processing fee that is 3.5% per transaction, or $10, whichever amount is higher. You can read about it here in the official @Binance tweet. Binance enables debit and credit card payments. Support.binance.com, where you can read more about that. Here it is, that exact page published just recently, actually. Binance enables debit and credit card payments. All the details are here, including the specifics about that partnership with Simplex. As I mentioned, it's pretty fast, 10 to 30 minutes for cryptocurrency to reach your wallet on average, with low fees, 3.5% per transaction, or $10, whichever is higher. But most importantly, forget about all that. I mean, those are relatively minor details. Visa and MasterCard, because you think about all that happened in the previous bear market, you think about the barriers to entry when it came to mass adoption. Well, a lot of it had to do with funding, and a lot of people really couldn't get around to transferring their money, or they couldn't be bothered, or maybe their banks didn't support it in the first place. Maybe there was blowback at that level. The institutions weren't too fond of what their customers were doing, so they disallowed it. You get Visa and MasterCard now on the scene. You get the world of credit involved with the world's best cryptocurrency exchange. I think this is a game changer, and I think if and when things do turn around, this is going to be that kind of thing that catalyzes a new wave of consumers. And even if they're not serious consumers, even if they're just there to satisfy some curiosity, to scratch a mental itch and learn about blockchain, learn about cryptocurrency, this world becomes much more accessible to them if they can access it via credit cards in the form of Visa and MasterCard. I'm very excited about this. It's going to be a great development. On Cointelegraph.com here, they're also talking about it. Top exchange Binance adds support for credit card purchases of major cryptos. I would definitely, I'm not going to sit on the fence when it comes to this. I'm telling you guys, I would definitely avail myself of this service. It's no secret that I live in Canada, and as I've mentioned in the past, it is difficult to acquire cryptocurrency here in terms of moving your money around, in terms of the banking system here, who they support, who they don't support, where they allow you to spend your money. So I would 100% make use of this feature if and when it becomes available. I'm looking forward to it. Let us know if you are in the comments below. As always, guys, make sure you're following us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Telegram. Check out the website, altcoinbuzz.io. If you've not seen our last video, it's available somewhere around here. Remember to smash the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and share if you could think of anybody else that could use this information. Have a wonderful Friday, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. I wish you a great weekend and all the success in the world should you choose to invest. Take care for now. We hope to see you again in our next video.